Hello, good day, and welcome to PvP, the show where we do opposite opinions and see who comes out on top. I'm your host for this show. I am Cory, and we have our two other hosts, the competition, as you say, for this week. We have David.
What up?
And we have Jeremy.
I can assure you, unlike Shannon Sharp, I will never leave this show because of Cory.
Oh, I'm Skip.
You think you're not?
Oh my! I thought I'd be like Collinsworth or something. You know, like
I think way over my head.
I think it's ridiculous that you think you're as good as Sharp.
Oh, absolutely, I am. Matter
of
fact,
you're
people.
Perk,
we'll post
dude.
it. We'll post the poll.
You're Kendrick Perkins.
No, definitely not. We'll post the poll.
I'm JJ Redick.
Is Cory Skip Bayless? Yes, no. Who is that? We'll have
Maybe
the poll
so.
up there. Yeah.
Player slayer, all around hater. That's what you are. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
We're doing all right.
Doing good.
It's
okay.
My partner's birthday. Shout out. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right. If you guys are ready, I'm okay just to jump right into this. Are you ready?
Let's cannonball this.
Okay. And for anyone that doesn't know, day debate topics, I give points. We have a winner. They're trying to appeal to me. So, Jeremy, get ready to sucker up and kiss my butt if you want to win this one. First question up. Diablo 4 just released, and as you guys know, I can't stop myself from buying any new release that gets good reviews. It got stellar reviews. I've been playing it. I've been really enjoying the game, but it is very, 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 very familiar to the Diablos I've played in the past, especially Diablo 3. Now, lots of quality of life stuff like that, but it just definitely feels like the same type of game. I want to know, in your guys' opinion, should sequels strive to be more unique or give players more of the same?
You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll take it first.
Okay.
I would say yes, depending on the state of the publisher/developer. So I don't know if Activision Blizzard was really in a position to break from the formula as much as maybe they want to or would allow based upon everything that's happened subsequently after Diablo 3. Because it seems like, granted, Overwatch was great, but it seems like everything after that has kind of been a bit of a disaster. So to bring back something that is of high quality, that has a standard that everyone's familiar with, is it shattering mechanics or anything like that? No, but it gets you to be, okay, I can trust back in Activision Blizzard with this. I'm comfortable with this. This is something they do well. It's something that feels familiar with me, and I have a comfort that I'm achieving with them once again. Compared to if it's something brand new, you're already going into it a little bit possibly hesitant, even with it being well received in reviews and stuff like that,
Good points. I like how you mentioned the publisher. Blizzard does not want any more bad heat. So
no.
I'm going to give you 2 points for that.
Okay, I'll throw out. So he did mention Overwatch and how you want stuff to be somewhat the same and respectable to what it's coming from. A big part of Overwatch 2 was the new feature that was coming to it. The PvE, like story mode and stuff like that. And that was what was really selling the game for the past couple of years. And while that is completely different from what Overwatch was, Overwatch 2 also incorporated the regular Overwatch. So it still had the same familiarity, I think I said that right, also with new content, new things, and everything like that. So while I think it is good to have familiar stuff in the game because that's what people like about it, it's also important to have a little something fresh so that way if people were, bored or burnt out of the previous game, they'll still have a new, fresh look on it.
I'm going to give you a point, but I'm going to follow up with a question directly for you. You mentioned Overwatch 2. That feature was canceled, correct?
Exactly.
So,
yes.
So there is no. And that's kind of like a. Okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying that new feature is what was pushing Overwatch 2 to be so many people were excited for it.
Okay. And then obviously once it got canceled, it was like, then what is this for?
Exactly.
Okay. Can you guys give any good examples of games that went away from their kind of like familiarity and kind of like went outside the box? that you liked or enjoyed or can even think of?
Yeah. A lot of people were questionable about it at first, and now it is one of the top-rated games. And there still is a select few people who don't like it because of how much it changed. But Resident Evil 4 was a big twist in its gameplay compared to the original.
Give you a point for that. Great example. Great example.
Thank you.
Yeah, as far as one where it was well received because of how people like. I mean, I don't know how much of a sequel you want to say, but I would say the difference in jump and change in the Assassin's Creeds, going from the Syndicate style to Origins, people really dug what they basically say is the Dark Souls incorporation of it, right? Making it more action oriented rather than a simple stealth RPG. There's people that enjoy those stealth RPGs or stealth mechanics, myself included, but I cannot lie and say that the new way that they kind of iterate on a lot of things, incorporating levels, incorporating more kind of open world mechanics into it, that it definitely elevated Assassin's Creed in regards to where it was going. It was going down, it just brought its stock back up. And ever since then, they've went to improve and iterate on those new things they've added to make it even bigger.
That's a good example too. I would say one that I thought was really well, Like a Dragon. I was kind of hoping, especially you, Jeremy, I know you're a Yakuza fan, like to go that far outside from an action brawler to a turn-based RPG. Like that's risky, and it looked like it paid off. But
yeah,
good examples by you guys. Good answer. I'm gonna move on. With Diablo 4 releasing, it was a $70 game. $70 seems to be the standard. There's no stopping it at this point. What's the upper limit of pricing on games that you'll just say, I'm not interested in this hobby anymore? Because there has to be. There's always a price for people. $70 doesn't seem to be it yet. But what could you see in the future being the price where you kind of step back and say, I'm not interested in this hobby?
All right. I'll go first this time. That's actually a pretty difficult question because I'm not too sure, because I don't really value a game. I don't value a game's worth based on how much it costs if I know I'm really excited for that game. So like Resident Evil 4, the remake, it was $70. And I actually bought it.
It was 60.
It was 60?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well I bought the collector's edition and a regular edition on Steam. And I didn't even know how much it was actually costing. But even if a game was $100, like if Hellblade 2 came out and it was $100, I'm still gonna get it. I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about $70, but if I think it's worth it, I'm gonna get it. But also the problem is I play a lot of the free games. Like in my spare time, I'm playing Apex or like Overwatch 2, and all they live off of is microtransactions. You know, so that game's free, and I've spent a total of about 6,000 hours between the two.
Wow.
But I've also spent like $1,000 on Apex. So it's, you know, it's a hard question for me. I'm not quite sure what that number would be for me to be like, you know what, I'm out.
I'll give you a point for having the balls to say there is no limit. I'll pay if it's interesting. I'll pay whatever it takes. So respect for that one, Jeremy.
Yeah, we're going $100. That's my limit. We're just going $100 here. I mean, you know, 70's already enough. This is a hobby. This is something I'm supposed to do for fun. Games are getting to a point where it's like there's cheaper hobbies to do and go have fun. I mean, it's getting to a point now where it's like video games, cocaine. Which one's cheaper? You know what I'm saying? Games is giving cocaine a run for its money. So I would say $100 is my top, because that feels like traditionally that's around where you get into collector's edition type of area. And like you're quoting the 70 is for like a standard edition game. So I'm saying like once you're hitting where I believe it's supposed to be the upper echelon of, hey, I'm going to spend $100 because I want to get a collector's or special edition of Fallout 76, where, you know, I get a canvas bag that doesn't actually come or anything else, right? Then that's kind of like where I would go. But that's it's $100, man. If you're like standard edition, Starfield 3, $100, I'm out, man. There's other stuff I can do, and again, games are always going on sale, right? They're constantly in the ebb of flow of going down and up and down in price because it's so volatile now, because it's being less controlled with digital and all that stuff. So I can be picky with what I want to spend that $100 on, just like I can be picky when I want to spend the $70 on. So, but I'd say $100. Yeah, believe me, if Elder Scrolls, they say 6 is coming out standard edition 100, collector's edition 250, yeah, kind of like David said, that's something I love. It's an IP I love. It's a word I love. I'll spend a little bit more for something extra. But besides that standard, 100 is the max. You start going up there, you start giving me $100, I start getting cocaine. It's as simple as that. This is just absurd.
I'll give you 1 point. Very interesting. And you guys don't really buy new games all that often, so
right. But I didn't even think about it. Jeremy did bring up a good point about stuff coming on sale.
Yeah, I mean, if you're patient and if you're patient in this hobby, you can get great deals.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's good. I mean, this is perfect because of the conundrum of I've talked about I'm eventually going to get Zelda, right? And I really want to get Diablo 4. Cory, if I buy those right now, that's $140 for 2 games.
Yeah,
it sucks. It sucks. If you want to play them when they come out, it's what you got to do right now. You know, you can find deals. I obviously traded in a couple games to get Zelda and Diablo. I had some birthday PlayStation money that I used, but it's not fun spending $70.
No.
When it used to be $50 when we were growing up, you know,
right.
You could get 2 games for $100, and that felt like okay. But
yeah,
that's the future. Good opinion, guys. Alan Wake 2. David, I know you're excited for it. Jeremy, I know you like the company Remedy that does it, and it is a digital-only release. This is a AAA title from a big publisher that's only going to be digital on consoles. Do we like this? Is this the future? How do you see this doing sales-wise? You can answer one or all 3, or just kind of talk about it in general. Whoever wants to go.
I'll take first. Cory, is the standard edition $69.99 for that digital release?
I think it's a $60 game. I can check real quick.
Okay. I will say this. If it is a $69.99 game, they can go kick rocks.
It is going to be $60 on console and $50 on PC.
Nice. Okay, so we're talking about a quote unquote discounted game now, based upon, you know,
the 60 is not discounted. You know, there's still a ton of $60 games, but go on.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, I'm not gonna ask. Is it next gen or current and next gen things?
I think it's just next gen. According to Google right now, it says Alan Wake will be PS5, Xbox Series X, $60.
I think for people that really want something like that, for AAA games, I don't think that's a good look. I think if it's a possibly Alan Wake, I would say it's a AAA game, but it is niche. And I would say with something like that, having a digital first kind of mindset makes sense, because people that are really into that world, are really into the way Remedy tells stories, they're more likely to put up some extra scratch to get something that's physical, right? As like a collector's or something like that. So I think that's fine. But if we're talking about like AAA of like a Call of Duty or a Mass Effect or something like that, then saying, hey, digital only, that's not going to work. I mean, already, much like we're seeing GPU VRAMs are being antiquated by how much video games require VRAM, we're seeing that these huge hard drives that these consoles come with are also being immediately antiquated when you have games that come out and they need 100 gigabytes for their base download, right? So I don't think that's really a good look to put that much more stress on download and to have something that people may want to be able to just go out and grab physically. You know, hey, you just got to get a download unless you want to put some extra scratch, and then you can get a physical copy of it. So I don't know. I don't think that's a good look.
Gonna give you 2 points. The hard drive issue is definitely a factor. These games are so big, hard drives are smaller and smaller, so
yeah,
huge factor in that. David, take it away.
I mean, I agree with him. So it's gonna be kind of difficult. As he was saying, like with the collector's editions for things, what's gonna be there? Like this, like say for example, it comes with a statue and a guidebook and some artwork, and then a code for the game? Like what? That's, to me as a collector, I don't see that as enticing. You're not going to get as much money from me if it's just a code and not like a physical disc. And then as the TV industry, stuff like that, when's the last time you bought a season or bought a Blu-ray? Everyone's streaming everything. Sure, there is physical stuff, but a lot of people aren't even buying it. And that's kind of the sense of games now, at least for consoles. The smaller, cheaper ones don't even have disc trays in them. You know? And I mean, I personally don't like it, but I see this being the regular gaming industry years down the road, is they're just going to have digital everything. And I mean, that's the way it's been for PC for a while. I know there's some games that come out with physical copies, but I own freaking 30 games on PC with nothing physical. And it's very already a lifestyle for PC gamers.
So I'm going to give you a point for the PC part, and I'm going to kind of expand on that if I could. You both are majority PC gamers, I believe. So, and you both agree that this isn't a good look, because you agreed with Jeremy. So does this bother you? Because you guys don't have the option of buying physical for most of your games if you buy them on PC. Almost any game. I can't remember the last physical release for PC. So does that bother you? You said it's not a good look. Is it something where you're like, this kind of sucks?
It does. Like I said, like I bought the Resident Evil 4 Collector's Edition. I had to get it for, Xbox or PlayStation because they just don't have it for PC. Even as I'm going against myself right now, at least if it had a code, I could have got a PC version. I wouldn't have been happy about it. But yeah, that I just don't like digital, because if something hits the fan and all we have is our TVs, we don't have internet or anything anymore, what do we do? They're just gone.
Yeah, I even think about that.
I'll give you another point.
I even think about that like it's something like with Steam versus like a GOG. Like at least GOG is DRM free, so I would in theory be able to like download a game and then archive that game on a disc or something for later. Where Steam, it's within the Steam environment. If I don't have Steam, I can't access the game. I can't archive the game for later or anything like that. So yeah, it is a concern. And I've talked before about trying to build an older PC to play older games that I have physical discs for, because I don't want to have to rebuy a digital version of a game I've already bought. So yeah, it's a concern. It's an annoyance. And obviously, like, consoles seem to be that last bastion of we value physical, and now that's going away for the convenience mostly of the publishers or developers.
I'm gonna give you another point for bringing back, for like the 6th time, the movies. I'm building a PC to play the movies,
yeah,
and it goes perfect with your point. You don't like it, because you already have this disc, and it would be lost for time if you had like not that computer anymore. So good point. I'm okay with digital only. I kind of miss the aspect. No one mentioned like you can't trade in games. You can't borrow games.
I thought about that.
Friend.
And
that would have been a point, David.
It. I know.
You need points, man. You can't trade them in. You can't borrow them to a friend.
Yep.
You can't, take them for a test ride and then try to return them to Best Buy. If fishing for a point right here. Go on.
If everything goes digital, why are the prices increasing still? They're saving so much money not producing physical copies.
That's a good point, but I think Alan Wake, that they did address that. They said to keep the cost lower, we aren't going to go physical. And that was one of their reasoning. Whether it's true or not, who knows? Obviously, they kept their prices at 60 and 50, so they didn't try to like upcharge you and still use that same excuse. So I like the digital future. I thought you guys would too, but, a little bit fighting against it, and that's okay. But you can't fight against this future. Apple has unveiled a new mixed reality headset, the Vision Pro, starting at $3,500. It's more than a gaming console. You're going to be using it for everyday life, but it got me interested. If you could pick a company to jump into the gaming market in terms of creating a console, who would it be?
So I thought about this for a good 15 minutes.
Wow. More than usual.
I did some research, yes. And I was going down to 2 that just kept coming back to me. And I think I'm going to have to go with one. And I I think Samsung would do a pretty good job.
Wow. Oh, I like that pick. 2 points right there. Let's do
So
that.
I'll alliterate some more.
Okay.
So they're number 2 hardware company in the world right now. They're based out of South Korea, so I trust that more than here, honestly. And they make literally everything else for the most. They make fridges, they make computer pieces, they make TVs, they make everything based around what is a console. So adding on a few more items in their inventory isn't going to be that big of a deal, I think. And they have the money and the time and the research development section of their company, I'm sure, to make a decent system and make it competitive.
I like the pick. I did not expect a non-gaming entity at all, honestly. So I gave you the 2 points at the beginning. Very good pick. Jeremy.
Well, as much as it pains me to not go with my wannabe gut reaction first option, I'm going to go with my second.
I will have to hear it at the end, though. I need to know. Okay.
I will have to go with my second option, a company I don't really like, a company whose products I use, and a company you just named, Cory.
Apple?
Apple. The reason I say this is for a couple of reasons. For one, Apple has a very close lockdown on its physical as well as software infrastructure. So everything is going to work and be, use this word, synergized. Okay. It's all gonna work together. Okay. Number 2, granted, one of the issues with Apple has always been that it is limited as far as like tinkering a bit. I feel like if for console gamers, that's not an issue. That's mostly been an issue with people on like coming from PC where they have a lot more options of freedom. With console, that's not, it's usually, you can't usually tinker that much with console anyway. But number 2, I'll ask you guys, you name a company that provides a more premium user experience and user interface than Apple. I mean, their stuff is just easy. It's just easy to use. And so they're going to design a dash. They're going to design access to your library that is nothing like the PlayStation dashboard. It is going to be very easy and clear and intuitive to work with. And again, like I said, they have close infrastructure on their chips. Guys, if you look and go into research, look into their M1 chips and now their M2 chips. Those things are powerful. They're rivaling anything that Intel or AMD are putting out. Graphically, anything NVIDIA and AMD are putting out. In fact, they used to partner with NVIDIA and they broke away because they wanted more control. They're now competing with them on a GPU level. They have everything that would be required to create a console that could push for power and performance. The problem is, like this Vision 2, it's going to suck in the price. It's going to not make sense there. And they're going to peripheral sell you into oblivion. That's true. But I believe that the core console they provide would be an absolute premium experience. So I'm going Apple.
I'm struggling. I'm struggling how many points to give you because you sold me midway through. You sold me. I'm like, yeah, you know what? They should get in. And then you're like, and the price and the peripherals. And I'm like, well, yeah, that'd be terrible. They would be terrible in that aspect. I'm still give you 2 points. I'm gonna still give you 2 points because that's that was good going with Apple. I mean, they've done it before. They failed, but they've learned a lot.
Yeah.
One thing I would say is, Jeremy, that $100 gaming threshold, you might be out of gaming a lot quicker if Apple's the one running the prices. So
yeah, that's 100% true. I look at Apple kind of almost like it would be like an American Nintendo.
Okay.
In regards to, I think, how they would approach some things. Nintendo's a little bit guarded in some aspects, but they don't need to be, and I feel like Apple would be the same way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I hear your other choice, your gut choice?
I wanted Sega to get back in the game.
We said that
Sega
before.
I knew it before the show.
Yeah.
Before you got in here.
Yep. I wanted Sega back in.
There's a good argument for Sega. I'm surprised neither of you picked gaming companies. Obviously, Jeremy, you were thinking one. David, I was really thinking you might go Capcom. I don't know if they have the money to make a gaming console, but their franchises alone and the exclusivity would be out of this world. It would be almost you would
You make
have
a
to
good-
buy the console.
You make a good point. I did not think of Capcom, but thinking of it now, I don't know how well they would handle actual like hardware and stuff. They're really good at games,
Right.
but
Um,
that is a good one.
I was leaning like another
appreciate it.
possibility.
I'm gonna give myself 1 point.
Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe possibly something like long stretch, something like maybe like a Corsair or a Dell or something like that. Like they already kind of exist. They have PC gamer brands, so Alienware coming out with something, or Corsair coming out with something possibly. But I think they're fine where they are. So
Yeah.
I honestly really enjoy the 2 picks you pick, because one thing about making consoles, I think you have to be able to bleed money for a very long time.
mm-hmm.
And Samsung and Apple can definitely do it. So
For sure.
Great picks, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm gonna tell you right now, David, you are down 1 point. Very close race. I have been a little bit stingy with the points this episode. Don't know why. But we are on to our final question. So this could make all the difference. And stick with me. It's a little convoluted. Maybe it's not convoluted. Whoever goes first, that's fine. It's going to be the same question, but opposites for you. You'll understand it. David, you have to play Jeremy in a game of your choosing for your life. Jeremy's trying as hard as he can. You're trying as hard as you can. Which game do you know you will beat Jeremy in? And Jeremy, you have to argue why you would beat David in that game. And then Jeremy, I'm going to give you the option to pick a game. And then David gets to argue why he would win. It doesn't necessarily have to be a multiplayer game. You could find a Resident Evil speed run, or you could turn a single player, but it has to have some sort of competitive edge, even if that's a competitive edge that you make up yourself. So take your time, think about it. You both have your specialties. I know that for sure, but I'm just interested. David, you're playing for your life. Jeremy, you're playing for your life.
I mean, how obscure?
You can name any game you want, but remember, you only got 1 point. If you pick the Guild 2 here, I'm not going to understand any of it. You might not get any points for that, all right? Just say it. Just saying.
Okay. Yeah, I have a game, but I'm not going to go with that because no one will know what it is. So I'm going to go with the other game. You already know what it is.
Civ.
It's Civ. Yeah, it's Civ.
I've played that game once, so
I've been playing that game continuously, I think, since I was 12. So, okay. I know the mechanics in and out. It's something that I know how to min-max locations, build locations, how to find cities, how to build armies, all the strategy and stuff you need, how to do research. I understand how you leverage all the different weaknesses and strengths that each civilization has. So no matter who he picks, I'm like, okay, you're Egypt. Oh, okay, you're good at science and construction. Or, oh, okay, you're Japan. You're good at military and this. I can beat you this way. I can, do it by trade or commerce. I would know all the different strategies based on the different civilizations and choosing my favorite civilization to beat him with, which is usually China. So I would go ahead and do that. I have supreme confidence in Civ.
David, responding to Civ.
Okay, so as I said, I did play it once, and I did play quite a bit of Total Annihilation Kingdom, so I do understand how the game works. But like he said, he does have an up on, he knows the knowledge of the game, he knows the knowledge of all the different forces. So in theory, the only way I could win is if he undermines my capabilities. But besides
he's fighting for his life.
He's exactly. Who knows if he's going to play with me, thinking he knows he's going to win.
Right.
But yeah, I have a 3% chance of winning that.
3% chance.
It's not 0, but it's
okay.
It's not 50-50.
Jeremy, you went with something that was safe in your opinion, but we can't deny that you have the knowledge to go head to head with nearly anybody, I feel like. So I'm gonna give you 2 points for that. David, you had a little bit more experience with the genre than I thought. I'm gonna give you 1 point. I think maybe it's 5 to 7%.
Oh, thanks.
David,
okay.
What game would you challenge Jeremy in for your life?
Honestly, it could be Apex. It could be an older Call of Duty. It could be Overwatch. I have the same knowledge that he does for Civ for those games. I know all the maps. I know all the guns. I have the muscle memory for switching guns. I have the muscle memory for movement. I have the knowledge here that he lacks. And I feel it's the same. The way he could win is I could undermine him. I know he's played some Call of Duty. I know he's played some Apex, so I know he has an understanding of the game. So I know I wouldn't be going easy on him. So I unfortunately also have to go the safe route and pick the game that I have thousands of hours in.
And which game is that exactly? You named 3.
I'll choose Apex just to pick one.
Okay. Jeremy, rebuttal.
Well, as we all know here, I have played and beat the game that preceded Apex, Titanfall 2, multiple times. Very familiar with the universe and the weapons. I played Apex at launch. Okay. My cousin plays it a lot, so I watched Tim the Tatman play it. So I feel like I've got enough references and experience to at least not die all the time. Yeah, I'll admit Apex kind of pisses me off. So
same.
So I don't, I haven't really touched it since that. But I feel like I could not die all the time. So I would give myself also another do I know the heroes? Nah. I don't know a single hero. Oh no, I know one's caustic. He looks like poison or something. So I know one hero.
The gasser, yeah.
Okay.
So it's one guy that does gas. It's got BO. I don't know what the other ones do at all. I don't know their names. I don't know where they came from. But I'll pick one up. Hey, at the end of the day, it's picking up a gun, shooting people. And we've all done that in some respect in gaming for some part of our lives, So I feel like I can again, not die all the time is really where I'm getting at. Just not dying all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
David, a safe pick, but I would put your Apex Legends knowledge against anybody. Like you said, thousands of hours. You probably have your shooting down to a fine tooth comb or whatever the phrase is. The only thing I would say is I think it's probably a little easier to get a lucky pot shot in a shooter than to survive a strategy game. It's a little anticlimactic. Yes, I'm going to give you 2 points, David. No one's saying you are definitely a veteran in that game and a professional. You're amazing, I'm sure. But I'm going to give Jeremy 1 point.
Yeah,
because I think his percentages to live, it's about 15%. You would win a lot of them, but Jeremy might be able to sneak away a winner chicken dinner. Is that what they call it?
That was the PUBG thing, but I mean, everyone says that for a lot of things.
Really enjoyed that conversation. You guys picked your best games, so can't hate on you. The scoring, I had just mentioned, David, you were down by 1. You both got the same points in that last one. Jeremy, you have come in here and you are victorious.
Holla. Congrats.
I think hold on, I'll let you finish, but I think David was a victim of going second on questions where you had the same answers.
That's fine.
I'm sorry, David. Jeremy,
all good.
Take your throne, man.
I will say that I was hoping David didn't pick like a Last of Us or any
Last of Us Grounded.
I just hate it. I hate all the mechanics of the game, and I wasn't very good at it. So, but yeah, sure. I mean, again, valiantly fought. David, a commendable and honorable opponent as always. So, yeah, that's it for me.
Oh, okay then. Well, Jeremy, you can take us away, man. I've done enough talking.
All right. Well, I guess that will conclude level. I mean, are we doing? Wait, hold on.
This is PvP.
It's PvP, but we can still do final thoughts, right?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Final thoughts. Let's do final thoughts. I'll give one really quick. I've been playing a game that I cannot wait to talk about more on the next level. because I hopefully will have beat it by then, and you guys will be surprised. But I think this is one of my all-time favorite games.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Are you under NDA right now?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. But that's
Just
I'm a little tease. I mean, I'm almost so compelled to tell you the name of the game, but I'll just give a little tease.
Listen to episode 68 to find out.
Yeah, there you go.
On the next episode of.
Yeah, I guess I'll go next. I come up with new hobbies all the time. I can't get enough hobbies, right? Like every day I'm like, I have a new hobby. I have another one that I'm about to start, which I think is kind of cool. And I could use some tips on if anyone's out there, all of our thousands of listeners, if anyone's out there. I play board games. I think I want to paint my miniatures. Like board games come with like little miniatures, like the Dungeons and Dragons guy. They come with like those game pieces, and I want them to look pretty. So my mother-in-law, shout out to her, love you, thank you. She got me a painting kit for miniatures, and I'm going to try it out. Maybe I'll throw some on Twitter when I'm done, or our Facebook page. You guys can give me constructive criticism, maybe rate it. I'm not expecting it to be that great, but who knows?
So I do have a tip. Since it's going to be your first set and everything, that is good. But I do know to not go cheap on the paint. So when you feel like you're comfortable, and if you do buy more, spend the money on the paint.
David, how do you know this? Are you a secret miniature painter?
No, I just know people that do it.
Okay. Yeah, I got a set from a pretty reputable company. I looked up stuff. They said, hey, you should buy these paints. They're made specifically for miniature painting. I know some places like Hobby Lobby and stuff, they have like craft painting, but these are for miniatures. Came with a couple brushes. Came with a few minis themselves, so I don't have to mess up on my own board game ones. So I appreciate it.
Better. Yeah, no
problem. Just a quick thing out here now. Of course, not hating at all. I'm glad you got a new hobby you're doing. That's great. Do what you love. Do who you love. Right.
Right.
But you're in the path to becoming that dad that wears his pants a bit too high, that wears glasses, that's in a somewhat darkened room with a very fine pointed painting his miniatures, and your child comes in and you're like, and you push him up and you're like, how was school today?
Hey, sport, come over here.
You're close, man. You're gonna start really slicking the hair to the side.
Did I ever tell you about the Civil War? Come on, champ.
Exactly.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, my final thought is I hit Masters in Apex.
Congrats.
So it's the easiest of the seasons to do it, but I did it. I'll take
first
it.
Time, right?
I'm play more.
It was your first time hitting Masters?
Yeah.
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
Takes dedication. It's good stuff.
It did. It took quite a bit because the way the whole system reset. So I started at Bronze 3. That was a struggle.
Yeah, that's
my final thought.
I wish I could be as dedicated to something as that.
I don't know if I'm dedicated or addicted at this point.
Well,
it's a very fine line.
Glass half empty, glass half full,
That's a good point.
There you go. Well, that's it for final thoughts. That means it's it for level 67 of the Thoughts and Players podcast, PvP edition. If you liked what you heard, please follow the podcast on your preferred podcast service. You can also follow the podcast on the socials, like Facebook. We're on Facebook at www.facebook.com/thoughts-and-players. Like it's all one word. We are on Instagram at thoughts.players. We are on TikTok at thoughts-players. And of course, we are on YouTube, where we upload video versions of the podcast. Folks, that was a car. No one passed gas, I assure you. But that is it for me, fellas. Is there anything else you want to say?
Peace.
Goodbye.
We have a Patreon. If you digging your boys and you want to support, check it out. We have a $257 tier. Thinker, player, all around Slayer. But if not, just a like, a share, a view, a comment is all appreciated. Well, that is it for us. And we'll check you out on the next level.